We go. Now it's unmuted. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to streaming time and my new current project, which is just for today. This is like a one-off stream of me trying to get ready for A-kon and making sure that everything is in order and that I've got all my costume pieces. If you've been following my Twitter, I've recently rekindled my love for Attack on Titan, and so I bought most of the parts of an Attack on Titan costume, and I'm going to be cosplaying as Hange at A-kon. Let me see who all is here. Hello everybody who's saying hi. Sapphire Gray. Kitten is here. Bunch of familiar faces. Within One Tiger. Anna. Awesome. It's so nice to see all of you guys and everybody else here who I didn't name. But thank you for coming back to my streams, even though I'm kind of been away for a little while. But hopefully after A-kon I can start doing this regularly again, and I am going to resume doing Celica regularly and then just continually work on that until she's actually done. But I've been enjoying myself in my ability to just do fun smaller projects on the side while I can. So right now I am just the thing I need to make tonight is this weird butt skirt that all the characters wear. It's the little here we go. The little leather skirt there. Techno Jelly, thank you for the follow, as well as, who else just followed? Where's my list here that I accidentally got closed? Bystander Tim, Gracing You, Techno Jelly, M. Diaz, all followed very recently, and Sailor Snow. Thank you guys so much for being here, and welcome to the stream, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully this is good. So I've been, I just tonight was oh crap, I need this weird little leather butt skirt. So I started working on a pattern, and this is not complete. This is not going to have all these different sections. I think I'm going to try to make it one continuous piece. If I have the material for that, maybe I'll have to put a seam into it. But for right now, in my patterning stage, this does have seams. What I'm going to do is put this on and draw a smooth line around, and I'm just kind of checking my proportions and my size right now. So I actually need to step off camera to do that, and I'm sorry, but I feel so scatterbrained today, and just trying to prepare and also do a bunch of other things. Yeah, this is actually pretty decent as far as the curve goes. Alright, I'm back. Cospix is here to troll me apparently, but thank you for following, Vince. Everybody say hi to my friend Vince, who was gracious enough to help me with my website and also took some photos of me at Fanime that I can't wait to see. Let's see. Oh no, Scarlet Letter says that their dad saw my butt pic that I posted on Twitter. My butt pic, not their butt pic, which is probably, better for you. So yes, I hope you enjoyed the butt pic that was just my spur of the moment being silly post in the middle of the night. So I've got this little butt skirt wrapped around me. Unfortunately, you can't really see it from your perspective, but just trust me that I'm wearing it. I'm wearing it and checking it out and checking out where all of the seams are hitting. Cospix says they might have a pic or two for me tonight. Well, I'm not trying to hassle you, so please take your time. Cosplayers, always be kind to your photographers and don't demand photos. But of course that would be nice and I would be happy to get them, so thank you. Let's see. Butt skirts, everyone's well, I guess that's the official name now, is that they're the butt skirts. The search term that I use to find them, reference photos and stuff, is just leather skirt. But butt skirt is what I call it. Alright, cool. That's about it. Let's see. Let me step back into my mirror here and check out where everything is hanging. Let me check out my own butt for a second while I draw this line. Oh my. Alright, I'm back. Okay. So this really does not need very much adjusting. I kind of threw this together really, really fast before the stream started and didn't have time to 100% solidify my pattern, but it doesn't need very much work at all. Okay. So what I have right here is the full thing because I was just testing it on my body and making sure that it was hitting where I wanted it to. But I'm actually going to turn my pattern into just half so that I can make sure it's symmetrical and don't have to worry about like doing two sides separately that match up. So to start with that, I have my center line already drawn. So now I'm just gonna like literally get rid of half of it. I heard a notification. What do we got? Jinx Step Gaming, thank you for following. Cool, nice to have you here. Welcome. Oh, yes, that's right. I have new curtains. I promised you guys I was gonna get curtains and block out the backlight, and I finally did that. And now Anna is saying that they magically change color with the white balance because I think it is this front cam is on auto white balance, so that's just gonna have to happen. Let's see. Gracing You is asking me, what days am I going to A-kon? I should be at A-kon every day, except I'm arriving pretty late on Thursday, so I'm not guaranteed to be like out and about or active or anything like that. But I will be there every day, and I should be there like all of Sunday because I'm not flying home until the next morning, so I should be pretty easy to find, I hope. My tentative, well, actually, no, my final lineup, I just haven't posted it yet, but my final lineup is Asami on Friday, Zelda on Saturday, and Hange on Sunday. And I asked around with a bunch of my friends because I was so excited about doing Attack on Titan cosplay. I can't even tell you guys how excited I am about doing this. It's actually really dumb. But I posted about it on my personal Facebook and was just like, does anybody want to cosplay with me? Is somebody still please like this show? And it turns out that actually a bunch of my friends are still excited to cosplay from it, and now I like suddenly might have a pretty decently sized group. So I'm really excited about that, and I can't wait to share photos and adventure stories and things like that. Oh, cool. Sapphire Grace says that they're in New York City for a research internship. So that's like an exciting new development in their life, and that's awesome. So cool. Thanks for sharing with us, and I hope that that turns out really well for you. So I just went ahead and sliced off the kind of awkward length that I measured here on my body a second ago. And the other major thing I need to do is not make this have like angles. I need to smooth all of that up. And I'm going to really quick just hit this with the iron back behind me so that these seams will be completely flat, and then I'll just treat it like it's all one piece. Unfortunately, my iron cooled down while I was talking to you guys, so now I have to wait a second for that to heat up again. But that's okay. So this costume was super spur of the moment, like even way more so than my decision to suddenly cosplay as Asami. I was watching the show with Jared because we've been keeping up with all of season 2, and I just sort of started falling back into my super fan love for Attack on Titan. It's all I've been thinking about recently. So, yeah, I just started getting really excited about it again, and how much I love this character and how much I love the show. And I hadn't felt like that in quite some time, because honestly, for a long time, I feel like my priorities have been changing in cosplay. And, you know, they do over time. That's normal. Metatony, thank you for following. Welcome to our stream today. Where I'm starting to be more ambitious with the projects that I choose, and I care a lot about quality when I have the luxury of doing something, a major project like Celica or like Zelda, and I still want to take those projects really seriously and complete them to the best of my ability and put as much effort as I possibly can into them, because I want to make really beautiful things, But also beyond that, I just want to have fun with my cosplays and not feel like I have to be like working really hard to impress people or to be the best version ever of something, because that kind of attitude just really, really wears you out in cosplay. And yeah, I mean, I'm always going to be a serious artist when it comes to making costumes because I care about them and because this is important to me, and I enjoy making things that are beautiful and that I'm proud of. But sometimes I just want to dress up and have fun and not worry about it and not have that be my priority. And so that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why I'm suddenly cosplaying Hange out of the blue, is because I love this person so much, and I want to do this cosplay so badly, and yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. I don't care if anybody else cares. I care. I care enough for all of us combined. So I hope that you enjoy the fact that I'm enjoying myself, even if you don't care about Attack on Titan or, whatever else. I'm going to trim off a little bit of this too to help that curve just be a little bit prettier. This is like, there's a little bubble here because I did a dart instead of like a full seam that goes all the way to the bottom, but I'm just going to like smooth it out. I'm just going to treat it like it's not there because we don't need it. Miss Katie Girl, thank you for following. Welcome. All right, let me take a moment to check out the chat. Oh, Evil Ted is here. Hi, Ted, and thank you for supporting fun. I think cosplay should definitely be fun. T Squared Productions, thank you for also following. And let's see. Margaret Full says I remind them of Sheersha, I think is how you say that. I don't know. Sheersha Ronan, I'll have to look that up. But anyway. That's awesome. Evanette says that Holly and I have been an inspiration to them, and that is really great to hear. I'm glad for that. Thank you. T-Squared Production says that for them, they base their cosplays on the beauty of the costumes. Yeah, that's something that, matters to me sometimes, too. I really enjoy making things that are beautiful, and that's certainly what makes me inspired to do, like, a really big project. But I'm trying to loosen up a little bit and open myself up to just having fun and just doing things that are simple and just enjoying myself. So that's what we're doing here today. Razvan, thank you for following. Okay. All right, so we're back to my little pattern here. I'm pretty happy with it. So I said that I bought most of this costume. I just didn't buy this piece because I don't know why I didn't buy this piece. I thought they were all really ugly, so I was just like, whatever, I'll make that. It'll take a minute. And then I pulled this like pleather out of my stash. There's actually some pretty decent like vinyl fake leather. It has even like a faux leather backing on it, which is a little bit weird. But I've had this for quite some time. Like, I've had this pleather for so long, it's left over from a project from before I knew how to work with leather. So I figured that it would be perfect offering to the cosplay gods of just doing something really quick and simple with it. So I would also like to remake the harness at some point, but not today. But yes, I would love for the harness to be of full quality leather, and that's not really what I have. I am just stepping away to iron this really quickly from the back side so that I don't mess it up, and just get some of the fold lines out from where it's been sitting in my fabric closet for quite some time. This might be not 100% possible, but it's going to be okay for now. And my piece is not actually big enough to do this as a seamless continuous piece, but I can do it with one single seam. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut both of them at the same time by just folding this over. And that way I know that I have a mirrored image and that I don't accidentally mess up and do like two of the same. Okay. Am I going to make the jet belt, as Ted is asking? I am not going to make the maneuver gear just because I feel like that would be really, really cumbersome and hard to travel with. If I were planning on doing this for a local con, that might be fun, But I feel like for my purposes now, I'm not gonna do the maneuver gear. But that would be really fun to wear in the future, maybe for like a photo shoot or something. And Scarlet Letter said that they just got their Tandy catalog and is now shopping for leather. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. All right. So I've got my piece folded over. I want to work away from the folded edge and toward the other edge so that I'm conserving as much of the material as possible. So whatever piece is left over might still be usable for something smaller. And I just need to kind of figure out where I want to lay this out exactly. I think over here is probably fine. Now, with this leather scrap being already pretty small, I'm not too concerned. And honestly, I mean, it obviously wasn't valuable to me to begin with. So I'm just going to kind of go for it in this area. And I mentioned that, I'm cutting it in half, and now I'm going to add a center back seam in order to make the two halves. And so to do that, I'm going to add an extra 1/2 inch on this side when I cut it on both pieces. So that will become my seam allowance. So yes, just if you're doing something like this, keep that in mind, that anywhere that you cut your pattern apart, you might need to add a seam allowance back in if you're going to do a seam there. All right, Ted is headed out for a drink. Go have fun, Ted. And Ted, enjoy yourself. I would love a drink too. Cool. Everybody's chatting about their favorite cosplayers. So that's awesome. Yeah. So Pax at Corio is asking is asking if my harness is going to be real leather. Yes, the harness that I'm planning on making for myself will be real leather. The one that I bought from Amazon is actually partly leather. It's a super low grade leather that is like laminated with some sort of structural piece on the inside. So it's like really, really thin. Like basically the surface of the strap is leather, and then the interior support of the strap is not leather. And it's made out of, mystery leather, which is not a great thing because that sometimes when you buy really cheap things that are made in sweatshops, they're not ethically sourced, and that bothers me. Stonewall 3000, thank you so much for the follow. But I don't know what this is or where it came from. I just know that it's mystery leather, which is a little bit unsettling and not ideal. But I'm going to remake it out of real leather and get the better, like the structural properties of the leather is what really makes it worth being leather in the first place. So yeah, I'm gonna accede to that and hopefully get a finished fully leather strap. A-kon is it has always been in Dallas, Texas. This year it is technically in Fort Worth, Texas. But if you know your geography, they are so close together that they are considered one large metroplex of interlocking cities. So yes, it technically moved cities from Dallas to Fort Worth, but for those of us who, I was living in that area, it's all just kind of considered the same thing. Maybe not if you live downtown. Maybe some people will crucify me for that statement and say that Fort Worth and Dallas are very different. But I always lived between them, and so I don't care. Oh, hey, April is here. Everybody say hi to my friend As Your Props in the chat, who's a wonderful prop maker who's done several props for me, I think. At least one that I can think of off the top of my head. The Luca gate key was made by her. T-Squared is asking if I've considered San Japan. I considered going there when I lived in Texas, but it's not a con I would travel to. And I never actually made it there because I was always doing other things that time of year. So, yep. Maybe eventually I'll end up there. If they had me as a guest or something, I would go, but I would not travel to that con just for the hell of it. So, before I cut this, I'm going to check one last thing, which is I didn't actually look in my leather drawer. Snapped like a kiwi... No, snapped like a Twix bar. I can't read. Snapped like a Twix bar. Thank you for following. Let me poke my head into my leather drawer really quickly and see if I actually do have any decent leather that I can use for this, because I might, and I want to check. But I certainly have this backup from the leather. do, or I think I do. Let's see. Oh my god, and this is almost exactly the same color. Look at that. So this is the leftover Dieth leather. If you guys are familiar with Jared, my husband, he wore a costume that I made for him based on his D&D character. And this is all of the scraps that were left over from that project. So I don't have a lot. Oh, I actually do have a decently sized piece right here. And this would make a lovely little butt skirt, wouldn't it? Alright guys, we're gonna make it out of leather. I thought I finally had an opportunity to use up this dumb pleather that I don't care about. And nope, we're making it out of leather. I gotta go for it. This stuff is definitely like pretty texturized. It has a lot of like character to it. I don't know how else to describe that, but it's got a texturized surface where when the light is hitting it, you can see a lot of like wrinkles, and it's good. It's good shit. Let me check back in here with the chat. Okay, cool. Yes. Leather butt skirt it is. Alright guys, I tried so hard to just make this cheap and quick, and well, it is still cheap and quick, but it's going to be a little bit nicer than I originally anticipated. But that's okay, because the leather is going to drape and fold a lot more nicely than the vinyl would, which is one of the reasons why I like to use it instead of vinyl, is because vinyl is just like, it's very stiff and it doesn't move as much. Someone said that fake leather is easier to work with than real leather, but I wholeheartedly disagree. Real leather, I think, is easier to work with in several different ways, and honestly, it often looks better on the final product because it has movement and drape to it, and vinyl is like really stiff and doesn't like to bend around corners. It doesn't like to lay flat. Leather is a lot easier to persuade because it's more like malleable, I guess, is a way to describe it. All right, so this is my like biggest, most useful piece. Now the downside of using this is that I am going to have to cut the two sides separately, and I can't mess it up because I won't have enough leather to continue. What do we got? Sorry, I'm just checking text messages from my sister. All right. Yes, it absolutely has more movement than the vinyl. Yeah, in case that wasn't obvious when it was picking up. It's even like a very similar thickness, and in fact, this might be a little bit thicker, but it's just softer and it's easier to manipulate, and it's gonna sit better on me, and it's gonna be prettier. And for all of those reasons, I love using real leather and not fake leather. But I also do want to buy leather goods from reputable sources and not sweatshops. So, yeah, I like when I can know where my stuff came from and that it's ethical. Okay, so I need to avoid some of the like ratty spots, and I'm gonna double check really quickly that I can't get another half of this out of a different piece, because I might have to make it a little bit smaller in order to get what I need from it. Yes, thickness. I'm just checking up on the comments over here. Oh, Cactus Wolf is here. Hello, welcome. Yes, I am a little bit swamped prepping for A-kon, but then I just decided, you know, what the hell, I gotta sew this anyway. Oh, thank you, Miss Katie girl. That is very nice. Thank you for the compliment on my hair. Universal says that they are taking notes on the streams to maybe someday make Captain Picard's away team jacket. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a really cool project. All right, let me pull out this other guy again. I know that both of them have their flaws, but still just getting another piece out of this other one would be perfect. Actually. Okay. So that determines which side is coming out of which hide. Okay. So the downside of working with real leather is that it comes in odd shapes and sometimes odd sizes, and that's because it comes in animal shapes because it's made out of animals. So this is the leftover of another piece that I cut out here and like the weird rest of the animal that didn't get used. And honestly, when I cut my previous pieces out, I was avoiding this area because there's some inconsistencies here and there's like some almost tears in it. So I'm gonna have to just deal with that and see if I can get this to overlap on the outside. However, being that this is basically a military uniform that's been used in battle, I don't see why it can't be a little bit, you know, battle worn or aged or whatever. It doesn't need to look flawless and shiny because this is not like a formal military dress. This is something that has presumably been in battle. So, nerdy little mushroom, thank you for following. I gotta lean forward to read people's screen names because I'm also blind, but all right. I have my rotary cutter here that is going to do some damage. Before that, I want to make sure that I don't, oh, I need to put my pattern weights back out. That's what I'm going to do. I need to make sure that I don't cut this side flush. I need to remember to add my seam allowance. So don't let me start cutting without doing that first. I'm just going to weigh everything down a little bit and make sure it's not prone to sliding while we are doing our cutting. Now, I'm trying to decide if I need seam allowances elsewhere too. Not on the full length. I don't need a seam allowance. Maybe I'll add it to one side. Yeah, that seems like the best thing to do. Okay, well, there we go. So I patterned this out, and like whenever you're working with your mock-ups, you need to keep in mind that you do need seam allowances on your final piece, even in places where you don't necessarily bother to put it on the mock-up. Old Greg channel, thank you for following. And who else do we got? Home Skillet Sam, thank you for following. Welcome to our stream today. So I was holding this up on my body and visually checking it out and seeing that it was about the right size and shape that I expected and wanted for this piece. And so I did all of that with the understanding that this is going to be lined, so it's going to have a backing, and then it needs to have that allowance in order to be lined and to have seams on all sides, more or less. But with the mock-up itself, I'm just visually checking it, and now my expectation is that it's a certain size. And I noticed that in the back it is longer than where it needs to be. But ultimately, in order to I'm probably talking too much. The point is, I'm going to add a seam allowance to only one side of this so that it's I'm kind of splitting the difference between keeping it the size that it is and adding that additional seam allowance in order to just make sure that it's like not too far off from my visual expectation from the mock-up that I made. So sorry if that's a really weird thing to explain, but I tried my best. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm thinking that this probably needs to be smoothed out too, because it's sort of like weirdly lumpy, and so I'm gonna just do that as I cut the piece. So that's a pretty subtle change of just like slicing off that edge. I'm like checking out my my stream overhead camera to see if there's any like more weird spots, maybe up here, of places where it just visually needs to be corrected. Okay, well there we go on that. And I still don't have a freaking leather pen that works because I still haven't been back to Tandy. Oh, what did I miss? Bezala is what I'm going to guess your name is. I hope that that's not too far off from the truth. Bezala, thank you for the follow. Well, welcome to our stream today where we are making a little leather butt skirt for Hange. But really this could be just about any Attack on Titan character because they all wear almost the same thing. Alright, this pen is working at least a little bit, which is going to allow me to make the mark that I need, which is all I care about. And I'm also going to quick grab a tissue. Okay. Here's my working pen and my tea. Oh, someone said the Stark coaster. This one over here that's almost completely hidden. There we go. Yes, represent my house. Well, actually, they're not my favorite. Well, okay, they are my favorite house. My House Stark over here. But check out my other coaster that you can't see, which is my husband. Now kiss. Yes, I ship them. Sorry about that. Checking this out. Let's see. Miss Katie Girl is asking, do I have any advice or tips for getting started in sewing and cosplay? And that they are just learning to sew on a machine, but what things like working with leather? Well, if you really want to know very much about leatherwork, just keep watching my streams because that's a huge question that you just asked. That's all of sewing and all of leatherwork. And the point of these streams is to gradually give all of that information as we're going. Unfortunately, I cannot dump the entire knowledge of my brain into other people's brains, or I would do that. But in lieu of that, I do these streams. So as much as I would like to answer that question, like that's a huge question. That's everything that I know. How to get started, I guess, though, I can answer. The way that you get started is that you start doing it. That's all. You know, that can be intimidating if you're not used to crafting, but ultimately you just need to get practice. Practice is how you learn any discipline, whether it's creative or whether it is, you know, scientific or, you know, whatever field. The way that you improve is by doing. So I wish I had like a really insightful message for you about, you know, how you can start out from scratch. But I mean, ultimately everyone has their own path. Just do something. Go to a thrift store and get, you know, something to alter if you're unfamiliar with making clothing from scratch, or just like order things that you can piece together and gradually make alterations to and become more familiar with it. But yeah, if anybody else has any relevant advice, please throw that into the chat and give us some answers. But yeah, that's what I've got right now. Oh, awesome. Bezalia, or I don't know if I... Bezala, maybe. Thank you for the kind words. This is a measuring gauge. Mandolin just asked, what is the little device that I'm using to measure the marks? So this is just like a little weirdly shaped tool. Oh, there you go. That has all these different like little sections coming off of it. Each one of these is a different measurement, a different common measurement. So this is 1/2 inch. This is 1 1/4 inch. This is 1 inch. This is, and so like each side is just like a useful little tool of, you can flip it around and use it to very quickly find the same distance, like in a repeated pattern, the way that I am right now, because I want to have 1/2 inch marks all the way down. So I mentioned that I'm only putting the seam allowance on one side. I'm doing that with, you know, with the understanding that all sides actually have a seam allowance, but basically, I am like going to split this difference between both sides, more or less. That's the gist of it, is that instead of adding it to both sides and then ending up with a final piece that's exactly the same size as this, it is going to be slightly smaller, which is what I have planned, which is what I want. But instead of starting from scratch just to add a seam allowance on, I'm just eyeballing it, and I'm just going with the flow, because that's what we have time for today. And that's because that's all I really need to do with this project. This is a simple thing. So if anyone is like new to sewing and was just like super confused by that decision, that is my best explanation that I can offer, I guess. Let me check out some more. Oh, Cactus Wolf, thank you so much for sharing links and sharing advice with Miss Katie. Katie, I hope that my answer was not dismissive, because that was not my intention, but it's just a loaded question. Ice Princess Elsa Zelda cheered. Thank you so much. She says, feels like forever since I caught Heidi's stream, but I'm here now. I'm happy that you're here, and thank you so much for cheering. It's been forever since I've been streaming, it feels like, because it's been like 2 weeks since I've streamed, which is forever in the internet time. The reason being was that I was initially sick when I came back from Fanime, and it was just like physically painful to talk, and so I just ended up, I missed my streams during Fanime, and then I came home and was unable to stream immediately because I had con crud, so that's why I have not been around, but I am back. I have another con this weekend, so I probably won't be streaming unless I'm streaming from the con, which you never know. But yeah, that's where I've been. I did not abandon my channel, and I will continue here on a regular basis. Galaxy Killer, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, and I think I missed one. One clever name. I'm sorry that I did not say that out loud when you did follow, so thank you so much for following. Appreciate having you here. And as always, anything that's garbage just immediately gets tossed onto the floor reflexively. So there we go. I added my seam allowance here in the center back, which is where my two panels will connect to each other. And I also added some additional space just on one side, because this is how I'm going to handle it, more or less. Goglor donated $5. Thank you so much for the tip, and thanks for being here at our stream today. Appreciate you. Yes, Cactus Wolf says that I am working on my hip flaps. I affectionately call this the butt skirt, so that is now the technical term for it. But yes, so I added seam allowance to one half of it with the intention that that's actually going to be split between both sides, so now I have a tiny seam allowance on both sides. So it will actually be visually just slightly smaller than what you're looking at right now, because it's going to have a little bit more material that is inside the seam allowance. But this way, it's only a little bit smaller than what I had planned, instead of being a full inch smaller. So there is the better explanation, the simpler explanation for why I did that, now that I have a visual representation. Cheesy Pokemon says that following me makes them want to cosplay. That makes me so happy. Please do cosplay. Cosplay is fun. Miss Katie Girl says that, I think you're saying I'd make an awesome Wonder Woman? Well, thank you. I still need to see the new movie. Unfortunately, I haven't seen it yet because I've been so busy, but I would really like to see it when I get home from A-kon. And then we'll see, because a lot of them have leather armor. That could be pretty good. All right, so here we go. This is our first half of the butt skirt. And this leather does have some of the, like, imperfections on the front, but honestly, that's fine for what we're doing here. I'm going to put this on just to hold it up. Yeah, I think that's fine. Totally. Now, mine's not, like, super wrinkled like they kind of are. Well, I guess they're not super wrinkled either. They have, like, wrinkles in weird places that I wasn't entirely certain how to replicate, so I'm just like, whatever. Maybe we'll do another one in the future. Okay. Now everyone's talking about how wonderful Wonder Woman is. Wonderful Wonder Woman. Yes, I have every intention of seeing that movie. I just did not get to make it to opening weekend, unfortunately. Alright, so now I have my choice of placement here on this other piece. I was uncertain whether or not I could get both halves of the butt skirt out of this single piece of leather, which is why I prioritized using that uglier piece. But now that I am in the clear and I know I will certainly have enough leather, I have a little bit more choice in my placement here. And I can avoid my more damaged areas. Now, a couple of thoughts about this. You'll notice that I set my mock-up aside and that I'm now dealing solely with the piece that I already cut. There's a reason for that, is because now I don't have to worry about adding that seam allowance, because the piece that I want, the second piece, needs to be exactly the same size as the one that I've already cut. So for that reason, I'm going to be cutting the second piece off of this one, using once again the pattern weights to make sure that it's not shifting around. The other thing that I'm doing that's very intentional and thinking about and not forgetting is that I am putting these two pieces face to face when I cut them. If I were trying to use this as my pattern piece and I just throw it down this way and cut around at this side, I would be devastated afterward to discover that I had two identical pieces instead of two mirrored pieces, which is not what I need. So when I'm preparing to cut this, I am very conscious of the fact that I'm cutting this particular side and not the other side. So just something to keep in mind with your own leatherworking projects is that it sure is a bitch when you cut it the wrong way, and I've done that before, and don't be me. So I'm trying to figure out where I can cut this in such a way that I have like the largest usable piece left over. But I'm also simultaneously trying to avoid this like large scar over here because it's really thin and not great quality leather. So I might just have to like just deal with it and just use the center of this piece. But honestly, considering the fact that I have used almost every usable inch of the rest of these hides, because I had like 3 of these when I started making Dieth, the fact that I have already used so much of this leather, there's really not a lot here left to try to conserve. So I think I'm just going to kind of go for it and cut the piece right here, and then I'll have like a little bit of maybe a usable scrap and then maybe a little bit of usable piece over here. I think that's going to be good. Okay. I'm just going to double check that there aren't any like major flaws under what I'm currently working on, and there are not. So that is good. Loaderbot donated $10. Thank you so much, Loaderbot, for the tip. Welcome to our stream. As your props in the chat says, cutting it the wrong way is a rite of passage. She knows, she does leather work, and yes, it is a rite of passage. Hopefully it only happens to you once, if it happens to you at all. But it happens to most people at least once, and that's why I mentioned it and wanted to talk about it before I make this cut, because it is something that is conscious and on my mind. So what else am I missing here in the chat? I'm wearing my Hange lenses right now, actually, because I was gonna work on her glasses straps, and then I realized that I couldn't find my glasses. My Hange glasses, not my actual real glasses. My costume glasses. I do not know where they are, so that's gonna take a minute of searching to figure that out. But I can just buy some fake glasses anywhere, really. Mm-hmm. Violet Sand said, it would be hard to focus on fighting a Titan while simultaneously fighting a major wedgie. Oh my goodness, yes. This costume is honestly just weirdly like super impractical for fighting. It's supposed to be so functional. And yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm sure that when you're actually walking around with like huge maneuver gear on your hips, you probably like, that's just got to be so cumbersome. And in the show, they're just like zapping around through the trees and everything is like super fast movements, and I'm like, that's not how that works in real life. But that's why it's anime, and I should stop being a spoil sport. Dark Brethren asking, are these magnets or just weights? They are just weights. They do not have, well, they're not being magnetized to anything. They have metal inside them, but, yeah, they're just holding this down. Just holding it down. we go. Oh, hey, Chad is here. Everybody say hi to my friend Quantum Theory here in the chat. Mr. Chad, who plays D&D with me sometimes whenever we can get the group together, which is not very often. But it's always fun when we do. Oh my goodness, Mr. Cospix here in the chat is sharing a link to the first photo he has for me. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty! Of my Asami cosplay. Everybody check that out if they want to see the photo. I'm so happy. Oh, thank you so much. He was actually shooting that photo from a surprising distance. I'm sure that he could tell you all more about that if you want to know about like the lens type that he was using. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I was surprised at the results and how beautifully in focus everything is, and like the background being like very soft focus. That's just wonderful. I'm so happy with that. Thank you so much, Vince. Oh, thank you, thank you. So I hope you guys like that one. Everybody give Vince some love, Mr. Cospix, in the chat for that wonderful photo. All right, I'm going to continue cutting this now. That was a happy distraction. I'm so glad. Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Vince, for sharing wonderful photos with us. That makes me so happy. I'll try to post that one tomorrow if I can between traveling. And if it doesn't get up tomorrow, I'll post it up as soon as I can. No, I'll post it in my my costume announcement, because I can actually have a photo of me in it. So there you go. I will post it as soon as I can. All right. As someone kind of pointed out, this leather is super stretchy. I'm actually not entirely certain what kind of hide this is. It looks like it's almost like a lambskin, but it's honestly so much like stretchier than lambskins that I've had before. It could be that it's just tanned a little bit differently, but I don't know. It could be like deer maybe, just because of the like the super softness and the stretchiness. But that's just a guess. I honestly don't know entirely. I got it from a place where it was not labeled, so that's how that went. Evil Ted is back. We just cut both of our leather pieces here, and actually I think when you were still here last, we were going to be using some scrap vinyl that I had left over, and then I changed it to some scrap leather because I had some scrap leather, and so that's what we're doing now. Let's see. And Vince says that he's editing pictures while watching a stream tonight, which is awesome. I'm so glad that you're here and that you are being entertained and also entertaining us with your beautiful photos to share. Bazelia is asking, yeah, Bazela maybe. Please correct me if I'm like butchering that name. Is asking, is there an advantage to the way that I'm holding the rotary cutter? I think it's just personal preference. I sometimes hold it like this. I sometimes hold it like I kind of brace it different ways depending on how long I've been cutting and how tired my hand is. As long as you have, you know, a good control over it, then I don't think that there is like a proper form for using it, but I could be wrong because I didn't go to fashion school. So I will just say that I have used it multiple ways in my lifetime and never noticed a significant difference in the cut quality. So use it the way that you are comfortable and that you enjoy using it. Okay. Cheesy Pokemon is heading out, it looks like. Well, thank you for stopping by and enjoying the stream with us. And well, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for being here with us. All right, here is my full butt skirt. For right now, oh, I actually don't need to clip these together yet. I'm using clips instead of pins, both because it's leather and I don't want to put extra holes in it, and also because it's pretty thick, pretty decently thick. So, yeah. The clips are more convenient for working with a thicker material because you're not distorting the material by pushing a pin through it. Now, I have this, like, It's like a really thin satin, or it's like a China silk, which is a fake, not silk, but that's just the name of it. I think that's what this stuff is. It's just like a really thin lining material. And I had a bunch of it. So it's now about to become a part of this butt skirt. Oh, okay, they say it's Bezalela. Okay, I hope I got that right. Bezalela. I'm going to try my best to remember that. And hopefully I did that correctly. Okay. So this is just I don't even know where I got this stuff. This is definitely a scrap, so at least I'm using up something here. Well, I'm also using up my leather, so I should not beat myself up over that. Okay. Now, this piece, I am going to cut close to this top edge. This is folded over, so I'm going to get both at once and just kind of put it close enough to that top edge that it is not wasting very much margin around the outsides. And this is also going to have a center back seam just for convenience so that I don't have to try to get it all in one go. I've already got the seam on the outside, so it might as well have a seam on the inside for simplicity's sake. And this is super thin, super lightweight stuff that will hopefully not be a huge pain in the ass to work with. I'm trying to do my very best to like cut right on that existing edge without trimming away any additional material of the leather. So I'm going a little bit slower this time. All right, cool. And once again, I strategically cut in order to remove the bulk of the fabric first, so that now this is no longer pulling, or like the weight of this fabric is no longer pulling on the existing pieces, and then I will go back in and finish my cuts. And I missed Demon Tamer, Demon Tamer 131. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to our stream tonight. And Miss Katie Girl is heading out. Well, thank you for showing up. Thank you for the questions, and we'll see you later. Have a good night. I'm probably not going to be streaming for a super long time tonight because I really want to be efficient in creating this, and I think it's a little bit easier for me to work quickly when I'm not also trying to talk the entire time. But I wanted to stream at least a little bit of this to say I'm still alive, I'm here. And I just barely trimmed off just some slivers there, but that's fine. It's not gonna affect the integrity of this piece, and it's already stretchy too, so I'm not too worried about it. Now this super thin fabric is more of a pain in the ass to cut, and it kind of tends to cling in certain areas, so just be careful when you're working with stuff like that. But now we have all of our fabric pieces cut. We have a center back seam to put in both sides, and other than that, it just needs to be stitched around the edges. So I might actually just do the stitching on this off camera for a couple of reasons, and the main reason is that I want to stitch this on my industrial machine, and that is all the way in the other side of the room, and I don't have a convenient way of moving my camera setup. I can move it for the domestic machine, which is right there. That's the one that you guys have seen me use on previous streams, but this is a much bigger, bulkier, less accessible machine on the other side of my room, and so I'm not going to drag my camera and my laptop and everything all the way over there. And, you know, I'm going to stitch the lining on the domestic machine. That's just one seam, and it wouldn't be worth, like, adjusting on my whole camera setup for that. So, with that said, I'm going to set this aside for now and do my stitching on it once this stream is done. I'm going to move on to doing the glasses strap, and that's my other major thing that I have to do tonight. So yeah, if you want to know anything more about how I'm going to be making this, I can really briefly describe that, which is that the outside pieces are going to be sewn together on the center back seam. Sloth Sen Papi, thank you for following. So I'm going to do center back seams on the outside piece and the inside piece, the lining. Stitch those together, and then I'm going to sew it, the right sides together, so the two large pieces together like a pillowcase almost, leave a space in between to slip it inside out, and then just, that's going to be that. It's going to be super simple. So, if you want to make your own, that's how you're going to do it. And otherwise, I'm going to finish this project, not on stream, but you will see it done on me very soon. And yes, now I need to grab a couple of things for the glasses. I mentioned that I could not find my Hange glasses, so I initially decided to do this Attack on Titan costume over 3 years ago, which is when the show first debuted and when I first watched it and got really excited about it. Sticky Zipper, thank you for following. Welcome to our stream. So back when the show was actually really popular for the first time, oh, I've got another one. Captain Awk, as in awkward, I think. 43. Welcome, Captain Awk. Anyway, back when the show was popular and I was watching it for the first time and getting really excited about it, I decided to cosplay Hange, and then I just never went through with it. One of the main reasons being that it was just so incredibly oversaturated, and like everybody was cosplaying from Attack on Titan. And while that should not deter you from doing the things that you want to do, I just ultimately decided that it wasn't what I wanted to do right then. So I put it aside and stopped worrying about it. And now, 3 years later, I'm like, I need to be Hange. I need to do it for myself. So now that is what I'm doing. And so I had some glasses picked out that were basically like some cheap reading glasses. Oh man, that like white, not the white balance, but the exposure really changed on my laptop. Probably because of the lighting. Sorry, getting distracted again. I had bought glasses that I can no longer find for whatever reason. They have disappeared into the abyss of my sewing and cosplay room. But I did find the shirt. So the shirt that I'm wearing for Hange is one of the only other pieces that I bought of this costume 3 years ago, which is just a yellow shirt that I did find that I am still wearing for this costume. So it's kind of nice to know that one piece of my original plans did make it into my final costume. But unfortunately, I can't find the glasses themselves. Now, it also looks like I don't have any elastic that is brown, aside from this, which I don't think I can cut this without messing it up. Let's test it. Her glasses strap is like, yeah, it's gonna be no good. This is my big old bin of elastic and extra stuff. And it looks like it does not contain anything that is going to be useful for making this glasses strap. Oh, Vince is tagging me in things. I'm just now getting notifications on my phone. So as of right now, I don't have elastic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some of the scraps of the leather we just cut, and I am gonna use elastic, but only at the front probably. I don't know. I'm gonna have to rig that up. After I'm done streaming tonight, I'm gonna go to Target. I'm gonna buy some kind of reading glasses. Oh, there we go. It's bright again. I'm going to buy some kind of glasses that I can use for Hange and just pop those lenses out or whatever I need to do. And that's going to be that. and I'll figure it out from there. And to do these straps, I'm basically just gonna cut leather strips. This is some pretty decent leather over here. Melman says, just stopping by to say hi. Nice to have you here. Welcome. Gassy Gamer is having their message deleted. Is that something from the... Oh, Kitten is handling that. All right, well, cool. Let's see. What is it? Are people talking about... Oh, I'm actually not sure. Okay, Matricula, thank you for the $1 tip. Appreciate that. Okay, cool. I'm just checking in on little comments here. All right, I am going to do these straps pretty thin, although 1/4 of an inch really doesn't seem sufficient. That's super tiny. Well, how big are they? I'm honestly not sure. I would like to do at least 3/8, which I cannot do on that ruler. I can do it on this one. Now, I don't want to cut along this plastic edge because that is going to deteriorate it. Even if it's not really obvious, you don't want to cut continuously on a plastic edge because you're like slowly shaving it down. You might not even notice. So in lieu of that, I'm drawing the line, which I probably should have done this on the other side, but whatever. Next one. Next one. Here we go. And there we go. That's all it is. And this is actually naturally stretchy. The problem with like stretchy leathers is that they don't have like a true elasticity, and that they don't, you know, you can stretch them out, but they don't retract as well. Not like an actual elastic would. So this has a little bit of give to it, but it's not really like truly stretchy in that same sense. So I'm still probably going to put some elastic at the front of the straps where it's not as visible, but that's just for me to know. All right, and I'm going to actually trim off this edge a little bit more. Okay, Mandolin said they were talking about Handmaid's Tale. I couldn't tell what you were talking about. At first I thought you were talking about Attack on Titan, but then you were not. So yeah, that's what confused me. But that's fine. Please do talk about what you need. All right. Sauce Pasta says they're painting their nails while watching the stream. That's wonderful. That's creative, you know. Painting your nails can be an art form. For a lot of people it is. It's not for me, it's not my art form, but it's pretty awesome. Alright, so now I'm marking this on the back because I just trimmed off that extra little strip because the pen mark was visible on the front, which is not what I want. And so now I am marking the back side, which is actually a lot easier to see anyway. And if this pen remains visible after the cut, then I don't care, because it's going to be on the back. I would love to make a pair of actual goggles for Hange, and I think that I will. But for at least this first wear, I'm just gonna have glasses, like the way that she's in the. She has a pair of glasses and she has a pair of goggles, and she goes back and forth between them based on what the situation is. And this is gonna be the more casual version, not battle ready Hange where she's wearing the goggles. But that's fine because that will give me an opportunity to make a really cool pair. I can use leather for that too. So I'll make sure to hold on to my scraps from this. However small might be, they are still useful for goggles. Oh, and that just barely misaligned. That makes me so sad. There we go. All right, I'm missing some of the comments here, so let me double check my chat. Oh, they're talking about just tagging me. Okay, well, I'm sorry for having trouble tagging me, but hopefully I'm not missing your question. And Loaderbot is encouraging people to keep doing what they love, even if you're still learning, which is always wonderful advice, especially for any sort of artistic pursuit. You know, I was not born, when I was born, I knew nothing about this. And everything I have learned is through exploring and from learning and trying and taking all of the opportunities that I could. So, you know, some of that is learned from teachers and some of that is learned from experience and practice. But if you don't experiment and practice, you will never learn, regardless of whether you have the teachers or not. So that's what is the most important. The internet can be a wonderful resource and teacher. And hopefully these streams are educational for you if you are interested in learning how to craft pretty much anything. I don't always do anything, but, you know, this is a creative space, and regardless of what your art form is, I hope that we can all be creative and enjoy our time together. All right, so now I have these strips. I cut an extra one, and I actually might cut an additional extra one just because I don't have a Hange wig yet. One of my friends at the convention is going to bring one to me, so I'm going to have to style it in the hotel room, which it's a ponytail. You know, I'm not worried about that. I'll get my wig styled, but the downside is that I don't have it right now, and I can't. I'm going to have to make some adjustments for the size of it once it's on my head, regardless. And so these are just things that are going to have to be experimented with once I get the wig and get it on my head. So for that reason, I can't really fully 100% assemble these straps, but I can do quite a bit of it. Oh, there we go. My pen was not working. It's getting tired like me. All right, here we go. Got all kinds of notifications popping over here. I should just turn that off. Everyone's talking about Gattaca. I've never seen that movie. Should I watch it? I know it has Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, I believe. But it looks like a lot of people are excited about that movie, so maybe I should check that out. All right. Now I can do some generalized placement. I need to do like the 3 straps. They kind of come together like this, like they're stretched around her head in that way. And I need to figure out exactly where that junction is and at least do that much of it. So I'm going to grab a styrofoam wig head and be right back, and then we'll start pinning that on the head and see like kind of what shape and size we're going for. All right, I'm back. I got my guy here. All right. The reason why so many cosplayers use male heads, even when they're female, is because the male styrofoam heads are closer to actual human head size, and the female styrofoam heads that they sell are like tiny alien heads. It's actually really weird too, because you compare them, and even like the same brand. This more or less looks like a dude. Like, it's very generic, but it pretty much looks like a dude. And the female ones are just like alien heads. Like, they don't have human features. It's really weird. But anyway, there's my comment on why I'm using a male mannequin instead of a female, is that honestly, no matter who you are, you're better off with a male because it's closer to actual human head size. Maybe if you have like an abnormally small head, then the female one will be perfect for you. Okay. So I am doing this with the understanding that this wig head is smaller than my head will be once I have a wig on. Because I have quite a bit of hair, and so all of this is going to be braided up and pinned to my head with a wig cap on top of that, and then a wig on top of that. So my head is going to be larger than this is here. And so with that in mind, I'm not... like, okay, if this were the exact size of my head, then I would want to put this little juncture farther from the ear, but it's not. So I'm kind of compensating for that, and I'm going to probably place my little juncture where the three pieces come together more closer to above the ear, because I know that when I'm actually wearing it, that's not going to be where it's placed. So there's my explanation for what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to put a pin straight through it. One of the other advantages to using this leather is that it's just naturally texturized on the inside, on that suede side. So when I put it on over the wig, it should be able to like hold itself in place pretty well and not slide around a lot, just because there's friction on the bottom side. So that's what I was trying to say. That looks not 100% symmetrical, but neither is the head. One of the ears is taller. All right, whatever. That's fine. Yeah, this is not something that has to be super precise here. I'm just kind of determining how far I can reasonably get these to be spread out and what that is going to do for me. I'm putting a second pin farther back over here. There we go. All right, here's one. Loaderbot is asking, what would you most likely make plate armor out of? And Cactus Wolf is saying that they'll defer to me, but that my guess would be leather with metallic paint. And they win! The correct answer from Heidi is leather with metallic paint. You can make it out of all kinds of things. You can make it out of foam. You can make it out of thermoplastics, but I would use leather with metallic paint because that is what I enjoy using the most. So the answer, depending on who you are, how much you want to spend, and what you want to get into, the answer could vary quite a bit. But for me, from me, the answer is always going to be leather. Loaderbot is arguing, but plate armor is not flexible. Fine, but costumes are not real life. You know, who do we got? RLXP is following. Thank you so much, RLXP. Hopefully that wasn't intended to be said out loud. No, it maybe, you know, plate armor is not flexible in real life, but your costume is not real life plate armor. As long as it looks like plate armor, that is all you need, or in most cases want. And so the flexibility is not going to create problems, you know, most likely. So I would say go for the look and don't worry about the reality, because cosplay is so often it's not about reality, it's about faking it. So pretending that you're a fictional character, and you're often using materials that are not the real deal. So yes, I use leather when I want it to be flexible. I use leather when I don't need it to be flexible. Sometimes you can heat up that leather if you want to make it you know, more rigid. You can do that. But yeah. That's all I have to say. Okay. Now I have my pieces marked here. I am going to pick these up, and I'm basically going to lose a little bit of the structure here. But what I really wanted was just to make sure that I was connecting them at a point where it would sit nicely. So I'm swapping my pin out now for a clip that's clipping all of them together. And then I'm going to start stitching that in just a second. Alright. Sorry guys, I'm getting just too many messages over here. That's fine. Now, I had a thing. Oh, my pincushion. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes I lose words in addition to things, but then I find the thing and I find the words. So, we're okay. Now, I don't really have any thread ready, so I'm going to go grab some. Here's a little sewing needle that will serve me well. And here's some brown thread. Let's see, who is asking this in green? Indiana Jones asking, am I planning to stream tomorrow? I would, because I really want to get back to my normal streaming schedule, but I am not, because I will be on a plane. Tomorrow I'm flying to A-kon, and I'm going to get there in the evening. I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth area, and I have family there. My dad and my sister still live there. So my priority when I arrive is going to be going to hang out with them, going to dinner, seeing them, and hanging out for a couple of hours before I end up over at A-kon. Unfortunately, I forgot that A-kon was a 4-day con, or I would have just arrived like a full day early, which I thought is what I was doing, but then it turns out that the con is going all day Thursday. So, I'm going to be basically missing Thursday of the con and showing up in the evening for that, which is fine. I still have 3 more days. But for that reason, I am not going to be doing regular streams this weekend, but I should be back to that pretty soon. So one thing I'm going to do with this is that I'm going to tie the 2 ends of this thread together, which is what you want to do anytime you are like trying to tack something, which is just to create a small like holding stitch. Alright, I just can't keep up with my notifications right now. I'm sorry, I'm doing stuff. Oh, well, thank you, Indiana Jones. Says that they'll miss me while I'm not streaming. I will miss you all too. Like I said, I want to get back to regular streaming. The only reason that there was such a long break is because I got sick after the con and I wasn't able to stream. But I want this to always, stay regular. I thought about trying to stream from my phone, which is a thing you can do. And to stream by walking around the con and showing you guys what the convention is like. And I would love to do that, but at Fanime, I just kind of got overwhelmed with stuff to do. And so there was never an opportune moment for that. At A-kon, I have somewhat less planned for myself and my time. I want to mostly spend my time hanging out with my friends. So it's possible that I will decide to stream from my phone from the con, but I really want to leave that open to my schedule and my and just be flexible and like kind of see how I'm feeling. So I cannot promise that. And I'm sorry that it didn't happen last time because I talked about it a little bit before the con and ended up not doing it. But it is something I would like to start doing at some point. If not A-kon, then maybe the next one. But I'm going to try my hardest to get that rolling. So maybe I'll surprise you guys with like a fun con floor stream, or maybe you'll just see me after A-kon. But I should be doing a video at the very least. I did a Fanime, I filmed a vlog at Fanime, and I just have not yet finished editing it. So I might get a little bit backed up there with con vlogs, which is not surprising. But I do have video footage coming from the conventions themselves, and showing me in costume and doing photo shoots and meeting people and seeing other cosplayers and fangirling over their costumes and stuff like that. It is all in the vlog, and I will be doing more of those. Once again, I'm getting back into that stuff. All right, checking out some chat questions. Nerds and Crafts is now here. That's right. Cospix says that he blames the mac and cheese. We had delicious mac and cheese at Fanime from my wonderful con roommates who cooked for us in the room and made like a... Just calling it mac and cheese seems like an understatement because it's almost like a mac and cheese casserole where it just has so much cheese and so much mac that it's like a whole dish. But it was quite delicious. Alright, I'm going to trim this down. It's going to have like a separate strap coming from this main branch. I'm going to trim this down and then stick my clip back on there because I'm having a little bit of trouble with it shifting around, and I still have it attached to the other side, which is fine. Sauce Pasta is asking, how many cons do I do every year? It really depends. There are certain cons that I want to go to every single year, and certain ones that we only go to if we get invited to. So it varies a lot depending on, like, you know, if there are conventions that are interested in having us or not. The main ones that I go to every year now are KatsuCon, Dragon Con, and in the past I've always been at A-kon. I did miss last A-kon, but I'm obviously going now. But those are some of my big favorite cons. And then this year, because I am now on the West Coast, I added a bunch of West Coast cons. So Fanime will probably be a regular con for me, and I'll try to go every year in the future. Anime Los Angeles, I'm probably going to try to go every year. And Anime Expo. This will be my first Anime Expo coming up, this summer, which is just a few weeks from now. That will be my very first AX. But hopefully that also becomes a regular one, assuming that we stay here in Southern California. So as for now, those are the staples. As far as the total number for this season, let's see. I went to KatsuCon. I went to Anime Los Angeles, which is actually before that. Those are the first two. WonderCon happened, but I didn't go. Fanime I went to. A-kon I'm going to. Anime Expo I'm going to. Dragon Con I'm going to. TwitchCon. Yay, now that I'm actually a Twitch streamer, I plan on going to TwitchCon every year. And I was there last year, but I was not a streamer. And this year I am going, and I am a streamer. And so that's exciting that I'll finally get to like fully feel like I belong at TwitchCon as a Twitch streamer. So that's at least 7 that I'm guaranteed for this year. It's still possible that I'll add more in the fall, but those are the ones that are confirmed where I have either a plane ticket or a room or whatever I've agreed that I'm going to be there. So yes, it's always possible that will expand a little bit, but those are the major ones that I picked out for this year. And next year it's going to be, if not all of those, most of those too. So Dragon Con is one that I've been to every year in the past couple years. And also, Cospix. Check if anybody here is going to AX, check out the Cospix booth at Anime Expo. And Vince says that he and his team can get awesome photos, or are offering awesome photos to people there in cosplay. I will definitely be there, Vince. I will stop by and see you for sure. All right, now let's see about this one. I'm gonna just go ahead and trim this first. That's fine. And then clip it. Before I remove the pin, just to make that a little bit more stable. And now I can get rid of this guy, because I don't need him anymore. Oh, my thread is getting a little bit tangled. Please don't do this to me. It's like twisting and then creating a knot as it goes in, which is not what I want. Okay, I think I got it. Oh, World of Gwendana is here. You are the person who did photos with Kathy and her her Cowboy Bebop group, and my friend Travis and Louie. So hello, I don't think I've ever met you, or maybe I have at Dragon Con when we were drunk, which happens. But hello, and thanks for joining us in the stream. Maybe I'll meet you this year at Dragon Con. Oh, and Ice Princess is heading out. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you here, and hopefully I will be streaming again soon, and you can hang out some more. All right, so I'm just pretty much going to be doing a little bit of hand stitching on this. I may or may not rig this to the another strap or save that and just do the little bit of hand stitching in the hotel room. I probably won't be streaming for too much longer just because I have a lot more to do as far as packing goes, but most of my packing is done, so this is going to be a pretty leisurely night. I will not be up all night working on my costume this time, which is wonderful. It's a good feeling. But yeah. Probably we'll call it quits here within the next 10 or 15 minutes. Stitch this up a little bit and then make my Target run for the evening and eat some food because I had a really late lunch, so I'm not too hungry, but I did not eat before the stream tonight. So I need to make sure that I am eating and ready for the weekend, have my energy up. But yeah, I'm super excited about A-kon specifically because I get to go back to Texas and see all of my Texas friends. If you aren't already familiar, I lived in Texas for the vast majority of my life and then only 1 year ago moved to LA. So right now it's been a year since I've seen most of my friends in Texas, and going back to A-kon is really exciting for me because I have so many wonderful memories of that con over the years attending conventions in Texas. So A-kon is a little bit less structured for me. I'm prioritizing having fun and not getting caught up trying to do anything elaborate or ambitious or anything like that. I am going to be wearing Zelda on Saturday, so that'll be a little bit more taxing, but I don't have anything major planned besides getting a couple photos. I'm just going to be wandering around and having fun and not overbooking myself or scheduling anything. Cool. World of Gwendana, it's nice meeting you over the stream as I can. Thanks for showing up and chatting, and yeah, hopefully we'll meet over at Dragon Con, and maybe we can do some photos too. That'd be fun. Mandolin is heading out. Thanks for showing up, Mandolin. We'll see you next time. Oh, and April is still here. Azure Props in the chat saying she can't wait to see me, and I can't wait to see you, April. We're going to have fun. It's going to be awesome. Yes, my costumes are Asami and Zelda and Hange. And I think that I unintentionally got together a pretty decently sized Attack on Titan group of our friends in Dallas. So I'm very, very looking forward to seeing those people and spending time with them. All right, I'm gonna trim off the side little ears of those guys. And now I have 3 straps that, I know it doesn't look like much right now, but once this is stretched around my head and I have the ability to manipulate the placement a little bit, I think that is going to be definitely sufficient for my needs. And like I said, this is supposed to be entirely about having fun, and I don't want to stress myself out or worry too much about having this like perfect, impressive costume. I just want to chill and enjoy myself this time. One Part God is asking, will I go to E3? Nope. I will not go to E3. I have absolutely no desire to be at E3. E3 is the biggest, most stressful work event for Jared of the year. My husband is a video game reviewer, and he goes to E3 every year and has for many years now. And the fact that it is now open to the public is exasperating for a lot of people who have been going professionally for years. So now they are looking forward to, well, not looking forward to running around, trying to get all of their work done, which is, again, highly competitive, highly fast-paced, and having to do that around all of the fans who are there because they're excited and hyped about the games. And, you know, as a fan, maybe that sounds exciting to you. As a journalist or as a content creator on the internet, that is not exciting. That is extremely frustrating. And so I feel really bad for him now that he is going to have to fight crowds that will be probably significantly larger than they have been in the past just to get his same job done. And that really sucks. So that is my perspective on E3 and what E3 means in our household and what my expectations are for E3. And for that reason, I have no desire to ever go to E3. What have we got here? Dihydrogeno. Sorry. Dihydrogeno. Thank you for following. Welcome to our stream. I'm actually just wrapping up, but yeah. Okay, I know that I'm seeing the actual capitalization. I was reading it in all caps. Dihydrogeno, so it's like dihydrogen oxide. I got it. I thought that you were making a play on words because I saw it all in all caps, but that is not the case. All right. Yes, I am just wrapping up, unfortunately. I did my little straps here, and I started cutting out my leather pieces, but I'm going to stitch them together off stream just because of the proximity of my equipment is not working with me. But the last thing I want to do, I do need to attach like a side strap to this, which is going to be, I wish I had just had one continuous piece, but it wasn't long enough. One Part God, thanks for following. Thanks for being here today. It's been a good time. Yeah, that would have been nice if it was all continuous, but it's not. But it's not, so there it is. Oh, Cospix is saying that is one of his local photographer buddies. That's awesome. Dihydrogen oxide. Well, then maybe I'll have an opportunity to see you at a future con. Are you coming to Anime Expo, anybody? That's a question for everyone. If anybody's planning on coming to Anime Expo, since it's one of the biggest ones I'm going to this year, please let me know. And it'd be nice to see some people from the stream. Alright, I am going to sit here and hand stitch this last little bit while I'm chatting with you guys so I can still stay productive. But yeah, it's been about almost 2 hours. We're coming up in the next 15 minutes or so. It'll be a 2-hour stream, which is not super long, no, but I got stuff to do that I need to be off camera for. I have a little bit more packing to do. Most of my costumes are together from my last con that I never unpacked for, or unpacked from. So, you know, now that's really convenient and totally intentional on my part. See, I planned ahead so well that I planned to not unpack, right? Right, totally, 100%. So I'm just gonna do like a tacking, like a hand stitch through all of these layers, and then I'm probably going to grab some waxed, like, thicker thread from my leather stuff and just wrap this whole, like, joint area where all of the straps are coming together. So it'll just be, like, wrapping up all of the edges and getting one continuous piece. When I get home from A-kon is when I want to, yes, resume Celica streams. I've not forgotten about Celica, and I don't want to stop working on Celica or stop, getting more forward momentum with that, because I realize it's been a little while. So no, Celica is not being replaced or moved to the back burner. But I do also want to continue to improve this Attack on Titan costume. And I do have plans to wear this to Anime Expo as well, because I have more friends that want to do more cosplay groups with me, and I'm very excited about that. So, yes, no streams this weekend, most likely, unless I stream from the con, in which case it'll be a surprise. And beyond that, resuming Celica and also making the Attack on Titan leather harness stream will happen soon after A-kon, most likely. Oh, that's right. Okay, Dihydrogen Oxide says that they shot my Asami costume. That's awesome. Yes, I totally know who you are now. Steve, right? Yes. And they're going to be in LA in 3 weeks. Well, awesome. Then I will see you there, and that maybe we can hang out again. That'll be awesome. Yes, Anime Expo is in LA. And this will be my first time going. I have been to the convention center for one other thing, which was Stanley's Expo. I went to that one at the end of last year, but I was only there for one day. I just kind of looked around. Kamikaze. It used to be called Kamikaze, and then they changed it to just Comic-Con. I forget. Kamikaze is what everyone knows it as and talks about it as. So that's the one I went to there, but I was only there for one day. One Part God says, thank you for the stream. It's really good. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm just kind of sitting here and hanging out with you guys, but if the fact that any of you want to be here hanging out with me makes me very happy. So thank you guys for showing up and providing some company for me while I hand stitch this boring little tiny accessory on my costume that is still necessary. Every piece is necessary. Rose Whiplash is just showing up. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, this is like the last moments of the stream, is that I'm going to be closing up here in a moment. But I am glad that you got to slide in here at the end. Oh, oops, there is my ruler. So welcome. Welcome, and we are working a little bit on Hange and for my Attack on Titan, like, impromptu cosplay that I just threw together off mostly Amazon Prime. The jacket arrived today. The jacket is not very cute, but I don't care because this is about having fun. So I will redo that too in the future, but not today. Loaderbot needs help asking what he's going to have for breakfast. So please write in your answers in the chat and let Loaderbot know what he should eat for breakfast. My vote goes for, I gotta pick the classic pancakes, eggs, and bacon. That's my go-to combo. I kind of wish I'd put that on the outside instead of the inside. Well, I can do that for the other side. Nerds and Crafts asking if they can see the skirt. Which skirt is that? Are you talking about the leather butt skirt that I worked on right now, which is just this? Or are you talking about the skirt that I finished on my previous stream? Or are you talking about the skirt that I made for Asami off stream? I can show any one of those skirts, but this is the one that I was working on earlier today. I just haven't finished putting it together. But yeah, that's gonna happen as soon as I stop streaming, honestly, because I didn't want to move all of my crap around. But hopefully I can come up with a better streaming solution for incorporating more of the like sewing machines and sewing moments. The last stream. Okay, the last stream was my Asami skirt, I believe. I have two different ones. Let me grab the Celica skirt because it's in here. And I think the Asami skirt is upstairs, like put away in my suitcase. But anyway, this is the Celica skirt. This is the back of it. This is the seam here in the back. Here's my zipper. Unfortunately, with it being like a solid black color, you can hardly see the contrast. But there it is. There's the zipper I put in. It's pretty short. But she has thigh-high stockings, and I'm going to be wearing like pantyhose that are all sewn together in one piece. So that'll be fine and nice. It is just a little bit stretchy still. It's got a blind hem that I still need to iron out in some places. But this is the skirt that we made on stream. Unless you're talking about the Asami skirt, which is... I have photos of that up that are like clear close-up photos where you can actually see a little bit more of it. Oh, Nerds and Crafts is saying that they only got one Asami picture. Well, that's because, you know, photographs come back slowly or periodically from photographers. So that just depends on, you know, how soon I get them from photographers. And that's the reason why I've only shared one so far. But tonight in the stream, Vince shared a wonderful photo that he just edited of my Asami. And if he wants to share that link again, that would be awesome. Or maybe one of the mods still has that up. And so you can take a look at that other sneak preview. Oh my gosh, I'm not trying to guilt you, Vince. Please work at your own pace. And I respect the fact that you have many other people that you're working with. So release the photos on your own schedule. But for the people who are asking for them, that's the reason why I have only one right now. Well, now I have two, technically. So you'll be seeing more of that in the future, and I'm going to be wearing Asami this weekend, so I'll have another opportunity to do more. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. You will see more Asami shortly. Okay, so Cospix just posted the link again to the gallery here. Okay. And Nerds and Crafts says that they're really excited. Well, thank you so much for being excited. And thank you, Vince, for editing the photo and sharing it. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dihydrogen O says it usually cycles through one per person and then goes back and does the other one. Yeah, that's what it's pretty standard for a lot of photographers where they want to release like a preview from whatever sets they did with as many cosplayers as they worked with to be like, here's one shot of each costume that I worked with. And then after that, going back and spending a little bit more time with certain ones or with, I don't know, as they prefer. But that's pretty common. So, photos will be coming, I assure you. I will have more of Asami because I'm excited about that costume. I like wearing it a lot. Someone's asking if I am meeting up with any Korra cosplayers at the con. Unfortunately, no. I still have not like found a person to be my Korra. I also have not yet had an opportunity to like just shoot with a Korra, like because sometimes you just find people at a con and they look awesome and you're like, let's take photos. I haven't done that yet, but if I can, I would love to do that this weekend. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes peeled for any Korra cosplayers at A-kon. Please hit me up if you know someone, and I will be on the prowl for my beautiful avatar girlfriend. Okay, so now I have my 3 straps that are strung together and just hand stitched there and there. I think that once I get this spaced out on my head, it'll be connected to the glasses and not coming out in front of my eyes, but you guys get the idea. That is what I have for tonight. And this is pretty much the end of the stream. I'm going to chat here for just a second. That's true. I could probably find a Korra cosplayer by searching in the hashtags. But yeah, I'll look at that. Oh, awesome. They found another Korra and Asami. I would love to do a Korra Asami photo shoot. I ship them, and I like them a lot. So, hopefully that's something I can put together in the future. I just haven't had a chance to yet. But that will be one of my future priorities for when I wear Asami again. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to call it quits for tonight. Well, at least for the streaming part. I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to run to Target and find some glasses that I can bring to A-kon for this costume. And then I'm going to call it a night after I stitch this. So I've got a little bit of a to-do list tonight, but it shouldn't keep me up. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It was awesome hanging out with you and answering questions and having you to keep me on task and working hard. So if I don't get a chance to stream this weekend, then I will see you all next Wednesday night. And I will be back unless E3 is actively happening. I'll try to do my regular streams. If I'm interfering with like an E3 event, which I have to go and check and see if there's press conferences or anything, I might move the time around, but I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to keep streaming, and I will see you guys soon. So awesome, guys. Have a wonderful evening, and I hope that you all have a chance to do something creative today or this weekend, and report back to me next week on what you're up to. So have a good night. Thank you guys all for saying hey, and see you next time.